Hey everybody, it's Sunday, April 30th, 2023. Emily's mom and dad came up to visit. Haven't really done any video this week. I have shot some video, but we're gonna have to get it all together because Emily's working on a big project of her welding table. But anyways, Emily's mom and dad came up to visit this weekend. They like using the tractor, and her dad really wanted to bush hog. So this area's grown up obviously quite a bit. It's also really wet because we've gotten a lot of rain this past week. But we had to get that stuff knocked down a little bit. I did over in here where it's really wet, and I think eventually what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to get another storm ditch here where it goes off into that area there. But that's a project down the road. Emily's getting suited up. I've got my bee suit on. We got to check the beehives. So you can see her over there getting the smoker going. But her mom's going to ride over in the Jeep. They'll meet us over there and we'll do a beehive inspection and try to update you on some things that are going on. This washout, got to get a truckload of rocks here, by the way. So get a truckload of rock to keep that from continuing to wash out. But obviously that storm ditch is doing real well. So as we're walking over there to the beehives, this is one of my favorite parts of the property. All this had died because of the cold weather, but all the ferns are starting to come back. This is just thick, heavy wetlands area. So this is the one part of our property besides that way back there. But this is the one part of our property up here that is a wetland area. So obviously just gonna let this do its thing. But it's just real pretty back there with all the ferns. But it's going to make for a nice buffer. That way if anybody ever clears on that side over there, this will be a nice buffer because the house is going to be on the other side of that. Get over here to where Emily's at and we'll go check on the bees. So Emily's mom's hanging out in the Jeep. We're over here inspecting the bees. So again, I'm really disappointed that this suit isn't yellow. But
I don't see many bees at all. Oh, there's some.
I can hear them though.
Yeah. That one needs juice. But yeah, that one needs juice. But these look, these got plenty of juice. There's any bees in here. Oh, they're there. They're just busy.
That or they don't like the inclement weather.
Yeah, that's true. They probably don't. They're really calm, actually. There's nothing on this frame yet. This is a new one. So nothing there. So this is hive number 2, technically.
This is the one that has the queen with the yellow dot, right?
Yes. There's some honey on there. There's some bees on here, but not a lot. There is yeah, baby bees. There's a bee coming out right here. Look. There's a little bee emerging right there.
Yep.
No queen on there. There's not many bees in here. They're out foraging, but these frames look busy.
I'll say those look pretty thick.
Some long drawn out comb. Here's a big drone right there. Looking for that queen. It's here. She's easy to see.
There she is with a little yellow dot on her.
So she's busy laying eggs. This has got lots of brood on it, so we'll leave her be now. Yep.
Let the bees be.
Let the bees be.
All right, so we're gonna let Emily finish with her bees. Talk about some other things that have been going on. The bald cypress are starting to get leaves on them. So this is one of the bald cypress we planted a while ago. There's another one there. 2 more out there on the little peninsula. And then several of them over here along this shoreline. Figured with all the rain that we were gonna get that this would flow over by now, and eventually I'm probably gonna have to put in a spillway here. This is the highest we've ever seen the water, but this is the high that it was at when we bought it. So it's nothing that we're really concerned about, but it's nice to have all the water back in the pond or lake or whatever you want to call it, but looking good. So over here on this side of the pond, you guys are going to see and hear this little crazy bird. This guy's called a killdeer. They've been hanging out here for a while. She has a nest, which if you guys see these orange like driveway poles, that's marking it so that we don't accidentally, or somebody doesn't accidentally drive over her eggs. Right now what she's doing is fanning out her feathers to look injured. That way she's gonna draw me away from her nest. But they keep doing this little dance to keep drawing me farther and farther away. But I'm not gonna get too close. But they nest on the ground, which isn't really the smartest thing. And you can see her eggs right there. There's 4 of them. They're about the size of quail eggs, but they're white with black spots, so they blend into the ground real well. So we marked that way we don't disturb her nest. But Emily looked it up. I guess they incubate or whatever for about 30 days, and then when they hatch, they hang out with their mom and dad for, I don't know, another 10 or 15 days, I think. Then they take off. But that's a killdeer. The other thing I worked on this week, you've seen the blackberries and the blueberries, but Emily wanted a larger garden. So all that stuff that we had growing under the grow lights in the barn is now out here. Well, almost. I think she still has basil to plant. But this is 2.5 rows of peppers and a row and a half of tomatoes. And I think she's gonna put basil in here. Other than that, over here, our blackberry bushes are doing pretty good. I've got to get a different trellis. The string obviously didn't work, but the blackberries are doing really well. Emily picked a whole bunch of the ripe ones last night, but and the blueberries are starting to do pretty good. And again, Emily picked all the ripe ones except for that one last night. But all the garlic, onions back there. Up here we got a bluebird nest, and there are bluebirds in there. I don't see them obviously right now, but they've got a nest in there with babies. And over here you guys can see where I have used the weed eater to knock down the weeds. This has kind of been my worst part of my week. Well, there's other things, but a pretty significant part of my week. I dropped my Benchmade pocket knife somewhere in here. I may even dropped it in the hole when we were planting that tree over there. So what I've done is I've knocked this down. Emily has a metal detector. So I've been out here using the metal detector, but what I've been finding is just lots of pieces of barbed wire. Again, we found some concrete blocks here in a pattern as if there was a barn or something. So this is probably a pen a long time ago, I would assume, but you know, there's just remnants of something being here. But the barbed wire's making finding the pocket knife with the metal detector quite challenging. So that's been my project for the past week. I think I've spent probably 4 hours out here walking around trying to find this thing. And it's driving me crazy. But other than that, it's good to have Emily's mom and dad out here at Deer Run Farm. Your dad out there bush hogging, mom out there watching Emily with the bees. Not a bad day out here.